Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Bethlehem Morning Show. I am your host, Sergio, joined by my co-host, the one and only Craig Work. What's up, bro?
What's going on, bro? How you doing?
Man, I'm good, dude. I'm a little nervous surrounded by these ladies.
Why are you so nervous?
Nah, I ain't nervous. You looking more nervous than me.
Bro,
You got a little sweat coming down and everything.
it's hot in here.
It is a little warm. It got warm now, man.
They're all freezing to death, and I'm sitting here almost about to sweat.
Well, I'm with them because
I'm cooling down a bit, though.
Well, I was shivering when I walked in, too, so I just didn't say nothing.
You should have got you some coffee instead of your imitation.
Well, I mean, we're going to do like they say. They just fake drink it.
Yeah, it's all right. It's good either way, though.
It is.
For sure. How you been?
Man, I've been good, bro. How about you?
I'm good. What you been up to this week?
Well, bro, this week's been pretty easy, pretty relaxed, you know, just been working and stuff. What about you, bro?
Been working, man.
I know we've been on the phone. You've been sounding like you've been.
My wife works me like a Hebrew slave.
Don't get beat up down the
She
morning
does.
show.
I'm telling you, it's from can to can't.
Well, I mean, you gotta learn somehow.
I'm telling you.
She gotta teach you how it's done.
For sure. No doubt.
She's looking at me right now. She's like, you
Right.
better get on
She
there.
is. She's all right. She knows I'm picking at her. If I wasn't picking at her, she would think something was wrong with me. So,
Yeah, that's right.
no doubt.
That's right.
Dude, we have some phenomenal guests with us today.
We do.
I have been looking forward to this show for some time now. We've been talking
I
about
think
it
we've been
amongst
talking about
them.
it for what? 3 weeks now? 4 weeks? Probably.
Longer than that. We just let you in on it 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's
But
that's when I got in on it.
it's been something that I have anticipated ever since we started the morning show, and just getting these four ladies sat down together to have a conversation about friendship, and who better than to have these four women right here with us right now.
Absolutely.
They have been together for quite some time, and I am so looking forward to hearing some of the stories, the legacy that's behind their friendship. People know them.
Yeah.
Bro, they've traveled the world. I mean, they're famous.
Right.
They're famous.
We're in the presence of giants.
We are. I'm not gonna call them giants.
Well, y'all know what I mean.
You have treaded in water that you probably
Craig
shouldn't
has a
have.
way of trying to make what I say sound.
I mean, it is what it is. You said it, I
The
did.
viewers know the scheme.
It is for
Hey,
sure.
we know correct.
Listen, they know me. They know
We
how
know.
sweet I am.
They said they knew you before you knew.
They do. They knew me before I knew. So that is true. But what an honor it is to have you ladies. Sister Dian Grace, Sister Bonnie Clifton,
you.
Sister Pam Anderson, and Sister Louise Stanton. It's an absolute honor to be able to sit and have a conversation with y'all anytime, whether it's on the morning show, whether it's just in life or just in passing, or whether it's sitting in the barber chair. It's always great to have a conversation with them. Bro, you in for a treat.
Oh, I can't imagine. I've been listening to all the things y'all been talking about, and I'm like, bro, this is gonna be great.
Yes, it is. So tell me, how nervous are y'all?
Pretty bad.
Pretty bad?
Yeah, a lot.
Who do we think is the most nervous?
Well, they all look really comfortable to me.
That would be
Don't
me.
say it.
Sweet. That would be me.
Well, there's no need to be nervous. It's just us, and it's just a conversation about you.
Absolutely.
Who better knows your friendship than y'all? So, y'all tell us a little bit about yourself. Sister Diane, you want to tell us how this originated?
Okay. When we all four became friends, we had daughters that were about the same age and went to school together. And we took them to youth convention every year. And they wanted their own room, and we wanted our own room. So we had 2 rooms with connecting doors because they were young. I would say 12, 13, something like that. And we just bonded, and it has grown and flourished, and we are still friends 40-something years later.
We count the days till our next trip.
That's right.
So, you say trips, but before we get on the trips, I want to talk about youth convention for just a moment, because before we hit record, I learned something. Like, y'all was talking about going to the very first youth convention.
Right.
And talk about what that was like back in y'all's youth days.
Bonnie?
Well, we were just teenagers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a treat for us just to get to go and stay in a hotel somewhere. It was a big treat.
Been going ever since.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Since the very first, we've missed a few, I would say, over the years, but very few.
Yeah.
Been to quite a few of them.
That's awesome.
Wow.
My very first one, we went to Marion, Indiana, and I was telling you earlier that Sister Irene Pipkin was the way I got to go.
Wow.
And she carried Janice Stanton and me and Gail and Sherry. I'm not sure if somebody else was with us, but we had a great time, and I'll never forget her for that.
Wow.
Instilled something in us right
Hit
there.
us something.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and then over the years, how many young girls have you all been a part of carrying to the youth convention?
Right.
They both, there's all four just went,
Yes.
every young girl that went to Bethlehem school probably, I'm sure, at some point.
Yes, and we made rules and regulations.
We could use some of those rules again today, probably.
Yeah, you got to know that this was before cell phones, so we have to have a meeting place.
Yes.
Everybody meet at so and so.
What is that like in the Opry Land?
Right.
I'm telling you,
Wow.
we did have it at Opryland sometimes.
Sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was tough.
Had to have a meeting place to catch up, find everybody. If they wasn't there, I mean, it was just,
Yeah.
yeah.
People migrated to us, though.
Sure.
We had our little place set up, and they migrated to us.
I remember
we did have
my
that.
wife and I, our first time ever going to youth convention, the highlight of our whole youth convention was the very last night we ordered pizzas and we all sat down there.
Yes.
It was a whole,
Had
it
a
was people
blast.
sat in a circle
Had
and we
a
was having
blast.
a time.
Yes.
It was fun. That's
It was.
exactly the same.
So,
That's right. Like Bonnie said, that by the end of the night, all of their friends came and found us, and they would just be sitting around us because they knew we was going to be having fun. They didn't know how to have fun.
they've always been the cool.
That's right.
That's awesome. That
Something
is
like that.
So you all kind of originated at youth convention with your own girls, just carrying them, and it just went from there. You knew each other though. I mean, you went to church together. I mean, you grew up in the same community, so it wasn't
That's
like
true.
it was a metropolitan city, and you just met each other.
That's true.
So you all pretty much knew each other all your lives.
Yes, and our children at that time all went to the same school.
Yeah.
So we went to all the ball games together. We went to competitions and that sort of thing. So we were up together a lot.
I can't remember, just thinking back, I can't remember any childhood memories that doesn't involve every one of you. And I mean, because, growing up in Bethlehem, at Bethlehem School especially, everybody done everything together.
That's true.
right.
That's right. At that time we did.
For some reason, I don't know how, but it would be the whole school would get on that van, and Brother Jack and Sister Louise would be driving that. It'd be 40 of us on one 14-passenger van. But you could get away with it back then, It wasn't illegal then. It probably wasn't that many, but y'all, I'm probably exaggerating some, but it was a lot.
It was more 14, wasn't it?
Dian and I have driven groups of kids to camp meetings in Louisiana.
To Louisiana.
And back then, you didn't miss Sunday morning church. So
No.
we drove all night long just to get back on
Yeah.
Sunday, trying to get these kids back for church. Yes, we did.
I can remember, I don't know if any of you's ever seen the movie Hoosiers. It's about a basketball team in Indiana.
Yeah,
And you know how they'd have that old bus with the team, and they'd just be, the whole town would be lined up behind that bus. I remember it being like that.
We had a
It would
caravan.
be a convoy of vehicles going to a ball game.
Yes.
And we took it serious.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. Once again, we didn't have cell phones, so you'd have to put a sign in the window.
Yeah.
Please stop.
Yeah. Probably true.
Okay, a little more graphic than that.
Yeah, it was probably the convoy. Probably Brother Jackie's probably the only one that knew where we were going. So everybody was staying close to him.
Yeah,
but
that's right.
it was. I mean, the memories, bro. I told him when we started talking, we were talking about stuff that we wasn't planning on talking about. Because mine would just go to trigger.
Still part of it.
It was. So tell us a little bit about y'all's friendship.
Well,
Let me tell you.
Go.
How we roll. Yeah.
We done tapped in.
This is. See, Bonnie is going to make sure we get where we're going. Because she knows 16 ways to get there.
she is.
And she knows every mile
She's
mark.
the navigator.
So her and Dian are in the front seat.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's going to make sure we get there, but Diane is going to make sure we get there on
On
time.
time, 20 minutes early.
That's right. So she tells me and Pam, we're going to leave it. They're going to leave at 6, but she tells us 5:30.
Yeah.
Because
She's
she
going to be sitting in the driveway at 15 to 6.
And she's going to send us 16 texts. All right, girls, don't forget this, and this.
Yes.
She's going to keep us on track. And then Pam is going to make sure that we have fun on the way.
And food.
Yes, right. stop often.
Yep, that's
So
true.
that's
If we
how we
stop
roll.
and stop at the bathroom at the next stop.
That's right. One thing leads to another. That's how we roll.
We have enjoyed each other's company so much.
So y'all, where all have y'all been? I know you've been everywhere.
Yeah, that's why me and Bill don't really know.
when we went there. They're like, well, what dress did I have on? Now, sometimes I can say, you had on that dress.
They always say, y'all remember we crossed that bridge and we took a right? And me and Louise look at each other and go, She's like, y'all don't even remember.
That's so funny.
I think they could go on a trip and just leave me behind and tell me they went, and I was like,
did
really?
that
Did we have a good time?
We did that one time.
They did that
We
last,
were at youth
last
convention.
youth convention.
The last one, or the one before or something, and she wasn't there, so we took a picture, and Nida, my sister-in-law, photoshopped and put Weezy in there, and Weezy was like, so I was there.
I didn't even remember.
That's funny.
But we've been to Hawaii. We've been to San Francisco, Washington. We've been to Washington,
Canada.
D.C. Yeah. Did we go to Canada?
We went to Niagara Falls.
Oh my goodness, yes, that was amazing. We've been to youth convention all over the creation, wherever they were. Like Orlando, we've been there several times.
We have Missouri, St. Louis.
Yeah, St. Louis several times. Weezy remembers us parking down
I
at the
do.
river.
I have a memory there. I do have a memory.
St. Louis?
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
It was
I do have a
crazy.
memory.
Yeah, youth convention used to be in different places.
Yeah.
We went to Indianapolis. Yeah.
Where else we been? Lexington and Louisville and
A little bit everywhere.
lots of places. Yeah.
Y'all just strike out.
We strike it.
And you know, a lot of our children met their spouses at youth convention.
That is
Artisticians and
That is
you know,
true.
I mean that for them that's what it was all about.
Oh yeah.
But even after our children grew up and went their own ways or whatever, we still went to youth convention. Our kids wasn't even going. It was just us, yeah. Because we enjoy each other's company.
Sure.
You know, we just do. We can talk about stuff, or we can not talk about some stuff. If it feels like it would be controversial, we just don't talk about it. You know. But
Yeah,
we
you know,
know
like
each
I
other.
said the
We
other
know
night,
each
we may
other's-
not always agree on everything, but you know, we don't have
We've
to
never
talk
had an
about-
argument.
talk about
We've never had an argument.
You don't allow an opportunity for offense to come.
We are all very different, and we like all different things.
That's right.
But we make it work.
Absolutely.
Who's the sass in the group?
She's
You know, nobody else say that.
That's a controversial.
That's controversial right there.
We all sassy.
We're about to start the first argument.
Yeah, they were talking about. They were saying earlier, you know, when we got started, it's like, oh, we're just how did it come? Was it modern day Golden Girls or
Oh,
something?
yeah.
Yeah, and I said, well, who was Dorothy? Because she was a grouchy one. They all was like, I don't know.
Nobody's gonna play that.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
But we have been very blessed.
Yes,
We
yes,
have
we
been very blessed to have each other and God with us.
Sure.
Every inch of the way, we've enjoyed each other.
Well, you've been a blessing to many people too. I mean, just to hear the conversation, how people just were attracted to come and be around y'all's circle, be around your group. That says something. You know, it's not just. I don't want to be around. You know what I mean? We want to hang out with y'all's parents. They're the cool ones. That's
We're having way too much fun.
Yeah, and that blesses people. People should be doing that. You know, we should be teaching our young kids that it's okay to let your hair down and have fun in a godly way.
Right.
What better way to know what they're doing?
Absolutely. Yes.
You know, most of life is just ordinary. You know, day in, day out, ordinary. So you need to have fun. You know,
Absolutely.
have some fun. Don't take life so serious. You know,
It's serious enough by itself.
it is. Yeah, have some fun. Don't, you know, if it's hard, and you gotta. And the young people that say, well, nobody includes me. Well, you make a friend. I remember when I was a teacher, I have to refer to that because that's my point of reference. But kids would come, little girls especially, and say, they won't play with me. And I said, well, don't ask them. Just go play. Just go play. Include yourself, which was probably not the best advice because little girls can be exclusive. that's what I know. They can be exclusive. So what I should have told them is to go find somebody else that don't have anybody to play with. Go find somebody else that doesn't have a friend and ask them to play with you. So, that's how you make a friend. It's to be a friend. The Bible even says that. And as friends, must show us their friendship. So find somebody else, rather than standing back and saying, I'm being excluded. You go include somebody.
Right.
Go find somebody that needs a friend and be their friend.
And girls and women all want emotional support.
Absolutely.
So find yourself a friend who emotionally supports you. Who supports you.
Exactly.
Whatever trial you're in, they're right there with you.
Yeah.
I advise everybody to find a friend.
And I think that goes, and I'm speaking from a man's point of view here, but when you're talking about emotional support friend, you have to be told sometimes that you're being a little too much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like sometimes we need to be told, hey, you kind of being a little too much with
Yeah,
this.
it's not that important.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And there's ways to do that without hurting
You
each other.
balance each other.
That's right.
That's right.
Good accountability.
Good accountability.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've noticed there's lots of weddings going on here.
It is a lot.
And I just think, whenever these couples are dating, they're just being exclusive, because they want to spend time with each other. But, as time goes on, these young wives think, this husband is going to meet all my needs, but they need a friend. They need girlfriends. And that would just give that husband some relief sometimes, because I know you guys don't believe this, but women are sometimes kind of a little different to deal with. I know y'all don't believe that, but sometimes we get emotional, and only another friend or another woman can help them to you can just tell your friends things, because here's what the husband wants to do. I know how they are. Y'all men just want to fix it. Yeah. Your young girls come home, tell their husband this happened, that happened, and then they'll be like, and then the man or somebody did something to them that hurt their feelings or whatever. Well, then the man's gonna immediately say, well, they shouldn't do that, and hold a grudge against that person. Where the girl will get over it and not think about it anymore, because he wants to fix it.
Yeah.
But they don't want you to fix it. They just want to say, oh, I hate that attitude. If you just say that, that'd just be it. And that's what another girl would do. Oh, I hate that happened to
They
you.
would be your emotional support.
Emotional support. So you need that so much.
It's like Bonnie said, when whatever situation you're in, when they walk down the hall, I know it's going to be okay. I used to say that about elder brother and sister Wilson.
Yes.
If you were in the hospital, somebody was sick, if they came in that door, I knew whatever happened, it's going to be okay.
That's right.
And that passed on down to brother and sister, brother Steve Wilson, sister Pat, and now brother Boscus and his wife.
Yeah.
If they come in the door, you just know it's going to be okay.
It's just there's a sense of comfort that comes with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as sometimes things happen, I just want to talk to my friends about it.
That's
right.
I just want them to know.
Sure.
I respect their opinion, and I want them to have a good opinion, and I want them to understand me, and as long as I know that they're okay with it, then I'm good.
Absolutely.
Right.
That's a good point you just referenced to right there. You want their opinion, and because you respect their opinion.
Right.
And I think a lot of times that's where we find the people that fall into a fence now in friendships is they don't respect their own opinions a lot of time, because they don't have that emotional support.
Right.
They don't have, all they have is what they feeling, and they're acting off of their emotions,
Right.
and usually say way more than they should. I've been there many times. Y'all might not believe that.
No. I hate that happened to you.
But
I hate that happened to you.
I do too.
There you go.
There we go. Here we are. Y'all get me out of this.
I just told them earlier, I can remember when my daddy was in the hospital in Memphis, and I don't know what was going on, but anyway, it was about 8:30 one night, and it was just heavy, And I guess I stepped outside in the hallway, and I looked down, and here come my girlfriends down through there, and I just bawled and squalled, because that meant so much. It's 8:30 at night.
Right.
Who in the world shows up at the hospital? They didn't know. Maybe they did know. Maybe the Lord brought them there. But, I needed that right then. When Ray was in the hospital recently, they came bearing gifts. My goodness, a big basket this big. And, it was amazing.
Right.
That was my support when our house caught fire. And here comes Wheezy with just in minutes. Here she is at my house, and she's got all of this big, huge basket full of cleaning supplies. She was ready to clean, and she was just going to fix it.
We're gonna fix it.
And here comes Pam. She's bringing Kentucky Fried Chicken or something. You know? We got to eat, you know. And I was like, they said we can't touch anything until the investigator comes out and looks. So we all just sat on the porch and just rocked and just.
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah, support. Yeah,
Sure.
support.
Wow.
You know, and that's.
And they have done all of this for me too.
Yes,
They have been there for me
because
too.
that's what we do.
I look up and Robert had cancer surgery this past year. And there I am at 7 a.m. and here comes these ladies with donuts.
Here comes the Guess whose idea that was. Pam wants to feed everybody. She's
And
make
poor
sure
Robert
everybody-
is laying in this bed, and us all around him. And he thought, oh my word, James, get out of here.
Wow.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's always nice to know that you got somebody that
It's
Yes.
even when you don't expect them, you don't expect them to do this, but they just. It's like that means so much. It does.
I'm sure though that it's almost like, when God performs a miracle, a lot of times, people say, oh, I'm just blown away that this has happened, and it's almost like you're blown away when it doesn't happen. When you don't see each other, you're shocked, I'm sure.
Yes, and
You know.
we text each other. We send crazy videos to each other. We stay in contact, and I think that's real important.
Sure, absolutely.
Even if we don't see each other, we stay in contact.
Talk about some of the humor, some of the bloopers. I know there's many. You had one you just thought of right off the bat. I can tell by the way you acted.
Trying to think which one should we start?
Which one can we share?
Mainly that. Yeah. I'm gonna let somebody else have that one.
Well, bloopers, let's say.
You know, I had a really bad reaction one day in the car.
Oh, yes, you did.
I did, and she was trying to give me these raunchy brownie M&Ms. And she's here, take them, eat them. I said, I don't want them, no. Of course, you do that when you have a bad reaction, but
And I threw
That's
them,
a joke
And
now.
I threw them in her lap and said, I don't care, eat them. And she ate some.
Yeah.
She never
didn't
talks
have no
like that
choice.
to me. I was trying to say
yeah, they always
life.
take care of me when I don't eat right. And
I didn't know, and just till here in the last year or so, that Sister Dian could be very to the point. we were all kind of working with an individual all together, and I learned, I was like, she got some grit in her. I always thought she was just sweet little old granny, but she was just like, we're doing this now. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, she's good at that.
Yeah.
She's good at that.
So when I asked the
Hey, we
question,
need that.
when I asked the question about who's got the sass in the group, I was immediately looking at her because I already knew. That's so funny. Yeah. So tell me something. Tell us some funny stuff.
my goodness, Lord.
Y'all ain't being serious this much.
Most of it's on Pam. She brings the humor. She brings the humor.
I guess I do. About the cripple and all that stuff.
Oh my goodness! Yes. Oh my goodness! We were in Indianapolis. I can't tell you what dress you had on, but Pam had an accident on 349, and she had hit her head, and she had dislocated her hip. Okay, so she's on a cane, up there, and it was Indianapolis, and they had closed the outside doors, like you couldn't get to your room except you had to go all the way around. Well, we had gotten almost to our room, and this security guard stopped us, and he said, "Ladies, you can't go that way. You've got to go around." And Pam leaned up against the wall, and her cane hit the floor, and she said, "Man, I'm a cripple woman." Okay, we all had to hold it till we got to our room. He let us in, and we all just fell out on the bed, just screaming and laughing so hard. It was hilarious. It was so good. It was so good.
It worked for us.
And in San Francisco, we did, is it Lombard that was the crooked? Okay, so we get to the top, and Pam's knees were bad, and so she had
got something wrong.
Yeah, well, the cab guy, Uber, whatever it was, he let her off. Let's see, he carried us to the top, okay, and we were going to walk down. Well, she couldn't walk it, so he drives down and stops at the foot of the hill. And here's Pam sitting on the street corner in San Francisco while we come down the hill. Of course, we had to guide her really bad about that. Sure. It was funny. And she was just waiting patiently, just waiting for friends to come down and pick at her for sitting on the street corner. It was funny.
They wouldn't hurry up enough, would they?
I know.
It's usually, the humor is usually her.
They pick on you a lot.
They do.
You don't pick back.
No.
She can take too much fun. She can take it.
That's hilarious.
Well, let's talk about early on. Y'all was telling us earlier about, and this is something that I learned about the softball team.
Yes.
I never knew. I mean, I knew, of course, growing up here, the softball field and all that stuff. But I only knew the men's softball league. I never knew that there was a ladies softball.
There was
I'm not
lady.
athletic.
Well, at that time, our husbands played softball. And so they would travel and play softball. And if we went to a church where they had a ladies team also, we traveled and we played too. And we played a lot of games. That was back when Elder Brother Wilson was pastor, and he loved
softball.
and he was a very good
he
player
possibly
too.
could. He did.
And so we went and played, and we just turned our children loose, and we didn't see them until they were little. And we went one day. It had rained the night before, and mud was everywhere, mud everywhere. And Louise, I don't remember if you were trying to make it to first base. I cannot
know what
remember,
happened.
but she tripped and face planted. Body landed in a puddle, and she just raised up slowly, and you couldn't see her eyes or anything she
And
had.
Sister Becky sent me a picture of that not long ago.
Really?
She did. She said, I thought you might get a little humor out of this.
I wish I had that picture.
I do too.
I wish I had that picture.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun, but we didn't care, did we? We didn't care if we got mowed off.
Yeah, it was fun.
We were just having fun.
Until you do.
Then you care.
Sure.
Yeah. So we actually go way back.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be 42 this year, so I can't remember anything that doesn't involve, all four of you, because going to school at Bethlehem, I mean, I know we've already talked about this, but, it was just a family. The whole school was a family.
Yes.
And it was just everywhere. I mean, we were always together.
Yes, and parents were very involved.
Absolutely.
So we were just together.
And close.
Yes.
It not just, I know you four have been super close friends for a long time, but back then, I mean, it was just like everybody was at everybody's house at everything.
That's right. Yes.
If there was any kind of function going on, you was there. Yeah, I'll just say this. If you got a whipping at school or at church by anybody, you was getting another one when you got home. Because they just knew if some of that group got on to you, bro, you done something. And trust me, I had my share.
You didn't get enough.
I'm sure my boys did too.
We helped raise each other's.
Yes,
Oh,
we did.
absolutely.
Yes.
Weddings and that participating in everybody's wedding, fixed food.
Yes.
Yeah, I couldn't have given a wedding if it hadn't been for these girls. And they helped me. Literally helped me do everything. And we did the same for each other.
Just daughters. That's right.
Yeah.
Wow. Life full of fun times, hard times too. I mean, everything ain't always been sunshine and rainbows. And
That's exactly right. But it's good to have someone that you can go to when all that, when everything falls apart. Life's not always fair. We've lost parents, siblings, but it's good to have somebody to share that with, the good and the bad.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
And so how did the four of you come together? I know it wasn't always the four of you.
That's right.
How did that come
That's
about?
what we were talking about when the girls wanted their own room at youth convention, and we couldn't stand the thoughts of that, So we got a room with adjoining door, so the girls were in one room and we were in the other. So the next year we did that again, and the next year we did that again. So that's how all that started.
Yeah.
Was at youth convention.
The youth convention.
That you were talking about the Christian school competition. Well, Jackie went to all those, and Robert went to all those. But Bob didn't want to go, and Ray didn't want to go. So Pam and I went and carried our children, and pretty much stayed together. But then the kids got old enough to stay in the room with the other kids, you know.
Right.
But yeah, we just go back a long way. But our really getting us forward together started with, I would say, youth convention and the girls, our girls.
Yeah.
But
I'd say so too.
then when they, like I said, they got old enough and they had their own families and they went their own ways. Sometimes they come on to youth convention, but then it was just us four. But
Still,
we didn't have that adjoining door.
We'd have to have a meeting place.
That's right. But they still found us,
That's right.
didn't they?
They did. They would.
Yeah.
And then we just decided to go on other trips.
That's right.
And then, it's very.
Went to Las Vegas. You remember that?
That's true. That was interesting.
That
too.
was interesting.
Whitney,
Yes.
What does 4 godly ladies like yourself find to do in Las Vegas?
In Las
Let
Vegas.
us clarify this.
Yes, please do that.
Whitney, my daughter, had a job there, and John Wesley was a baby. And it took us 4 to go with her to take care of this child.
Yes, she didn't want to leave him at home.
She didn't want to leave him at home. And
Louise called and said, "Why don't we just make it this our girlfriend trip for the year?" And we were like, "All right." And so
yes. And so
we took care of John.
going to Vegas.
That was and in order to go in, we had to go through the casino. And
Yeah.
I remember we walked straight through. We just went right left, just kept going straight through. We never wanted to come back, and I'm in the casino.
I love it. That is so awesome.
And I had this baby in a stroller, and he said, "Ma'am, you can't have this baby in the casino." I said, "Sir, am I supposed to get to my room? I can't leave him here."
That's
We drove to the Grand Canyon.
Oh yes, that was a great adventure. Right
That
there.
was a definitely.
We decided that we were in, we were in Nevada. We're going to go see the Grand Canyon,
Right.
and we leave about just in time to get there and to look over the edge, and the sun's going down. Brilliant. We saw 0.
That's right.
It's the wonder I'm off in it. What are we thinking?
That's so funny. That's so funny.
Yep.
Go to the Grand Canyon at dark.
And
That's right. Just in time to watch the sun go down.
oh yeah.
So what's the stars look like over the Grand Canyon?
don't ask me, because I have no memories. I have no memories.
Well, what would you tell some young ladies, or ladies, whoever in general, about friendship? What's something you would leave with them today?
Well, I would tell them, you don't have to go on these big trips together. You can go out and drink coffee. And you can even meet at each other's houses. Let your children play, but bond and be a person who shows up for that friend.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can do it. Everybody needs a friend.
Yeah.
Find yourself a friend.
And it will
Find
enrich your
yourself-
life. It absolutely enriches your life.
It does enrich your life. Find yourself lots of friends.
Yeah.
The more, the merrier. And don't say, "Well, I'm not going to go because I got my children." Take them with you. We did.
We did.
We just
We
do.
did. Like you said, meet at each other's houses. That's and
Yes. And you don't have to spend.
that's
a
pretty
lot
much
of
what we
money.
did for the most part. We hadn't been going on trips until we got to be
Till the
That
kids
is
were
true.
grown and gone.
That's right.
That
All
is
these
true.
trips, we couldn't do that. We couldn't. First of all, we couldn't afford it. But no, that's right.
But you need some time to just be comfortable and be friends.
Yeah.
I think, absolutely.
And you're teaching your children to do the same.
I hope so. I hope so. Yes.
This, we think a lot of times, and I have young kids, so a lot of times my thought process is, well, what are we going to do with the kids? Well, and you just answered that question. Carry them with you.
Absolutely.
It's not always easy.
No, that's right.
That's right. But you can do it. You can.
How are they going to learn if you don't?
It's true.
I think Bishop and Sister Wilson, they done something not long ago, and they was just like, when we went to convention, we went to conference, our kids went with us.
That's right. Exactly.
They went with it. That
Absolutely.
was, it was their conference too. And it does make it easier when you just go as an adult, but it's rewarding when you got your child standing beside you and they grow up and they start serving in ministry, and and it's because of that.
No greater joy.
That's right.
It's not.
But you do need that time alone too.
Sure.
And you've got people that will accommodate that. Take care of your children.
And you need friends.
That's right. That's exactly right.
So for sure.
Yes.
Well, it has been awesome. It's been an honor to have you ladies with us, and just to hear some of your wisdom, just some of your stories. It's always, I love it. Anytime this thing right here, I see her. I go over to Mama's house, and she's at Mama's house, and me and her's usually over there laughing about something, and everybody's, what are y'all laughing about? None of y'all's business.
See, I told you she's the one that makes sure we have fun.
She's the life of the party. Absolutely, she is. Definitely.
Rummy, would you want to share something? You want to leave us with something? Some of your wisdom?
On a more serious note, I would say that, life is not always a piece of cake. Life's not fair sometimes.
Yes,
Life doesn't always turn out like you. I told the girls that one of the trips we took recently, I said, life doesn't always turn out like you thought it was going to, or like you might have planned. But the first time I heard Sister Pat Wilson sing that song, that CeCe Winans song, all my life he's been faithful.
Yeah.
All my life he's been so good. With every breath that I'm able, I will sing of the goodness of God. And like I said, we've all lost, from time to time. But I also saw my bishop now when Patrick died. He died on a Sunday. We buried him on a Tuesday. And the next day, I remember it being rumored that we were going to have church. Well, we were all just in shock, just everybody, the whole church. And I remember thinking, how are we going to have church?
Yeah.
We just buried Patrick. And that very night, I sat in that pew and I watched my pastor walk across that stage, lift his hands and watched it. And I thought, what have I got to complain about?
Yeah.
And I saw your mother and dad bury a child. And just the other night, I looked over there and Kenny and Gail were both worshiping, and we've got precious people right now going through that. Yes. God's faithful.
Absolutely.
We may not always see the end right now, but we just got to keep putting one foot in front of the other. Right, guys? He's faithful.
He is. Definitely. He's good.
He's
good.
And he's blessed us with good friendship.
Absolutely.
Together. Absolutely.
Yep.
That is still thriving.
That's right.
That's right. Absolutely.
Planning the next trip. That's right.
Planning the next trip. What's on the horizon?
Yeah, what's on the itinerary?
Well, we talked about going out west.
Out west.
Yeah. Hadn't been there.
I want to go back to Vegas.
We're going past that. Once is enough. Yeah. One time was enough of that.
That's awesome. So out west. So y'all thinking California, maybe?
Oh no, we've already been to California.
We've been to Stanton.
Y'all going further than California?
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think
We're
maybe.
going, Louise.
If you're going further than California, you can swim.
She's not. And I can't swim. Yes, we went to Hawaii and we all snorkeled and
Not Bonnie.
She just stood there and watched
I'll
us.
take pictures.
Enjoy it.
That's right. I don't do that water. Good thing I got baptized when I did. Yeah.
That's the only water.
That's right. That's right.
Well, Sister Bonnie, leave us with some wisdom.
Oh,
It's
well,
wasn't ready.
you caught me.
Yes.
I ain't got much wisdom. I tell you what, I do know though, like Pam said, that God is good.
Mhm.
Yeah. He always has been and always will be. Even when she said we don't know, you understand, from the beginning, we don't know. He's been mighty good to me. And I'm thankful that we've got each other and others. We have other friends,
Sure.
but it's just kind of like, they may not want to go on a cruise.
Right.
Well, we tried that one time. These girls didn't like that too good. But anyway, so I cruised with my sister, right? If I want to cruise, I'll just go cruise with my sister. But I don't like water. Did I mention that? Wisdom, I don't know. I know if you keep God first, He'll fill in the blanks.
Yeah. Wow, that's good. That's good. Weezy?
Well, these girls, like I say, bring so much into my life. Like we talked about, Dian is the practical one that keeps us together. She's practical wisdom and serving, all this service. I see that, I observe that in her. Then Bonnie's steadfast as they come. And I think about her in that barbershop. She's going to use that venue. And I pray for you.
I want you to.
That God would open doors when she has a captive audience.
Sure.
Amen.
Sure.
And then Pam, as you can see, brings joy into our lives and under the most difficult circumstances. She's so resilient.
Absolutely.
She is.
So resilient and so courageous. That's keep on keeping on and being the happiest one in the lights of the party in spite of it all. So God has brought us together as a group, and I am so thankful for them. I'm thankful that we have one another, and like I said, we're not exclusive. We love to share our joy with other people, and have a good time. God's good.
He is.
Yes.
He is definitely good, always, no doubt. I know just growing up here around you, growing up under you all my life, I mean, it's just the first thing, when you get, you stray from God, you stray from home, and you get out of church, or you get, on the wrong road, and then you come back. Y'all were never different. It was always the same. I sat down in your chair to get my hair cut. It was never judged. It was never, you need to get yourself together, Craig. It was never that. It was always the door's still open.
And
It was always a sweet hug, or it was always a laughing and cutting up, or always just an encouraging word. It's just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
From all four of you always offered something different, but it was always the same love.
wow.
Well, you make our heads swell.
Well, it's not about me, but I'm just, from a person that's outside. I mean, like you four ladies have always been a pillar, a pillar to the faith, a pillar to the community, to the church, and I speak for a lot of people when I say what I'm fixing to say. There's a lot of people in this world that look up to your friendship, and they idolize your friendship because it has been something. And people want to fit in. They want to be accepted. And you ladies have blazed a trail for that. You've showed people how to be that. Yeah. And I just want to say thank you for that. It's been good. It's been good.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. No, people are watching.
Sure.
I can't imagine. I haven't been to Bethlehem as too long as y'all may be aware of, but I've absolutely heard every single one of you all. Through Brother Austin, Sister Liz, and all the leadership, and the ones older than me. And so I've always heard wonderful things. And like what Brother Craig said, to echo what you're saying, you guys' lives impacted so many children.
And if all these young people could just know that have come through and have, like Craig said, have gone out, if they could just know that it makes everybody's heart so happy for them to come
That's
home.
right.
You
The
can-
door's still open.
When you can't go anywhere else, you can always go home.
That's right.
You can come home, and there won't be any judgment. Everybody's just happy.
Absolutely.
Come
You
home.
attitude.
Come home.
Come on.
Yeah.
So good. So good.
What makes me think about, just as a closing remark, not only have they had a friendship, but it's God's been in it.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what's been behind all. Like you said, you sit down at Sister Bonnie's chair and say, "Hey, the door's still open." It's that love that's being poured out continually. And so, again, that's just something that is inspiring to me, and I'm sure many young people.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yes, thank you all so much. We love you.
We
If
love you.
If you would, go on there and drop them a comment. Tell them how much you love and appreciate them. We love you all. From the morning show, we can't wait to see you in church.
We love you guys.